Hey guys, it's Fren. Today we're going to be making Finnish bread. Finnish bread is just a lighter and more delicious form of sandwich bread. The top of this bread has a really nice glazing and also is very smooth. The inside is super soft and it's very delicious. You can fill it up with anything you want and layer it, make it a sandwich. When you cut into this bread, you'll see how soft it is. It's super delicious also. You don't need any other filling or anything. Just spread it with some butter and super ready to go. Just eat it that way. It's super delicious. Or you can maybe even layer it with some chocolate spread or jam, anything you want. Or you can even make an egg sandwich with it. This is a perfect bread for making any sort of sandwich recipe. So without any further ado, let's get on to making it. First, I've taken out all the ingredients: 3 cups of flour, 1 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of yeast, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of butter, and half a teaspoon of salt. Also, the butter should be really soft butter, not melted butter, but just a really soft consistency which you can incorporate it into the flour. Now set that aside. Here I've taken out the milk, yeast, and the sugar. First, add the sugar into the milk. This is really warm milk, not use hot milk, just slightly warm milk. Add in the sugar, then let the sugar dissolve. After that, you can add in the yeast. After adding the yeast, give it a slight mix. Do not over mix because the yeast will not bloom very well then. Just give it a slight mix and set it aside for around 10 minutes. When you're resting it for 10 minutes, the yeast will activate very well, so do not skip this step. And you can see after 10 minutes the bubbles have started forming. Now set this aside. Next, take a dough kneader. If you don't have a dough kneader, you can just knead it by hand, it's fine. But when it's a dough kneader, the process is much faster, so it's optional. If you want, you can just knead it with your hand, it's totally fine. Next, add in the salt. Also add in the butter. Then you can pour in the yeast and milk mixture. Close the lid and let that knead very well. Let the dough come up together. So after kneading it for around 10 minutes in the dough kneader, the dough should start coming up together. If you're doing it by hand, then make sure to knead it for a long while because this dough needs to be kneaded very well. And after around 10 minutes, you'll see that the dough is nice and sticky like this. It has just started coming up together. It should be soft, but not too sticky. So I've kneaded it for a very long time, so when you stretch it with your hands, you should be able to see the gluten stretch like that. Now here the dough is done. Next, we're going to be resting this. For that, just pour some oil on top and brush the oil out thoroughly on top of the dough. Then cover it with a bowl and let it rest for 1.5 hours. After resting it, you'll see that the dough has come to double or triple size. At this point, you can just take off the bowl on top. Punch down to release all the extra air bubbles. And once again, just knead it and bring it to a soft ball. Now once that's done, we're going to be dividing this dough into smaller pieces in equal sized balls. I'm going to be dividing the whole dough into 10 equal balls. Then take each of these doughs and shape it into a nice round. Just pinch the sides together and form it into a nice ball. Once all of the dough is done, just cover it with a towel so that the dough doesn't dry out. Always make sure to cover it. Take one piece out and then cover it again. You don't want the dough to dry out, so make sure to always keep it covered. Now you need to start rolling this dough. When you're rolling it, you need to roll it long but not as wide. Then start stuffing in from the sides and roll it inwards. And the sides, just pinch it in together and try to hide the seam as much as possible. Make sure the seam isn't open. If it is open, when you're baking it, the seam will split. So pinch it together, even the ends, and make a nice shape. Now gently place this onto your baking pan without ruining the shape, and continue doing the same thing with the rest of your dough pieces. After that's done, cover it and rest it for 1 hour. Make sure to cover it. If it's not covered, the dough is gonna dry out. After 1 hour, it should have risen pretty well like this. Then we're gonna be just face painting it with 1 egg yolk. You don't need egg white, just an egg yolk. Just brush the top of this with the egg yolk, and the egg yolk is what is going to give this nice and yellow glazing. So do not skip the egg yolk step. Gently brush it without leaving any marks. Then you can keep this into a preheated oven for baking for around 25-30 minutes. Now I've taken it out of the oven. Just let it cool for quite a while, just 5 minutes. And then you can cut into the bread. You can see how glazed the top part is. It's nice and golden brown. It's also very silky and smooth. When you slice the bread open, it's nice and soft. It's very squishy, soft and delicious. You can see all the air pockets and holes. The top part of this has a very even golden brown color and is also super smooth and soft. It's super delicious to eat simply with butter, or if you want, you can even use chocolate spread or any sort of spread you like. Even make sandwiches out of it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also ring that notification bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching. Love cooking. Bye bye.